The Inspiring Insights show is recorded on stolen land. This land is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Huron-Wendat, the Anishinaabeg, and the Haudenosaunee. The land we live on was settled in an unjust way, and that continues to cause harm. We at Reawaken Co. commit our actions toward decolonization of this territory and Turtle Island as we as a company grow. Our host Erin has enjoyed certain privileges from this white capitalist society and is working from their own social location to honor the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, especially the calls to action numbers 18 to 24. To learn more, you can click the Learning and Continuing Education link in our Instagram bio at reawaken_co. I am so happy to be sitting here with you folks tonight on this beautiful eve of one of the first days of spring. This is episode 28 of Inspiring Insights. So welcome. We've been doing this. Jessica and I were just talking about how I've been doing this for a lot of weeks, for the past 28 weeks to be exact, in a row. And I'm so happy to be here with you and to be hosting this amazing means of amplification for folks in the wellness industry. And you know, what inspired me to actually start Inspiring Insights was just that, to actually be a space where we can come together and really make each other feel alive as much as possible. And we'll get into it more, but what better way to do that with breath than with breath? So Reawaken Co. is actually a company that I helped establish and help found this past year during this pandemic to make wellness more accessible. And we really want to bring as much alignment and shine a spotlight on folks that will help you bring yourself into alignment, to really, just absolutely get down to the nitty gritty things that come with being healthy. And I think there's a lot of different ways that, we define health these days. So in that, I think we're destroying some barriers, destroying some boundaries, and opening our minds up to more possibility of what's actually out there for folks. So this is our show. Welcome to Inspiring Insights. And hoping to raise more and more people up as we move along and hopefully inspire and uplift our own consciousness as we go. As always, this is on Zoom. Actually, it's a different platform than what I've been using. But the chat is here. Feel free to engage. Feel free to write in the chat whatever you like. Or just drop a little wave, drop a little hello, say how you're feeling. And for everyone that is watching the replay of this, I still feel you. Welcome. I so wholeheartedly thank you for being here. And the same, as you watch and listen, please do so. Please just write anything in the comments that comes to mind. And even if you have questions, you can also just write them in the comments. I'm a pretty avid YouTuber, so I will definitely see those and get back to you as soon as possible. Today, I want to bring a very special guest into the spotlight, Jessica Bouley. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's quite fun that we just got a chance to breathe last week, and I'm like, ooh, I'm enjoying this weekly interaction with you.
Yeah, this weekly hangout has been great.
Yeah.
It's so cute, actually. As I was just as we started and said the welcome little spiel there, it started raining here and I could hear it on my ceiling.
Nice. Beautiful.
And it was almost like a really nice release, a really nice kind of just letting go and just being here.
Yeah. And it's raining here too. It just started. Yeah, it just started. So it's spring, it's rebirthing, it's all that cleansing. So yeah, happy to be here with you.
Mm-hmm. For all of you folks who don't know Jessica, let me just read a little bit more about her, and so you can get to know her more, and then we'll get right into the meat and potatoes of this chat.
Mm.
3 years ago, when Jessica was introduced to breathwork, she had no idea that what she had just experienced would be the catalyst for the most transformation she'd experienced in her life. As someone with a regular yoga practice, she had already had an awareness around the importance of the breath, and yet this was unlike anything she'd ever experienced in a yoga class. So, after experiencing many different modalities for understanding herself at a deeper soul level, ranging from vipassanas to talk therapy to self development programs to a lot of things I'm sure we're all
Mm-hmm.
used to even traveling solo around the world for 7 years. Wow. Nothing has been quite as profound as choosing conscious connected breathing for Jessica. Her deep dive with the breath has led her to train with a somatic breathwork teacher, which has opened the door to co facilitate group sessions and private one on one sessions, both online and in person. She continues to be fascinated by ancestral trauma, non ordinary states of consciousness, and how breathwork can assist in the awakening and remembering of who we are at a soul level.
Mm.
Let me just,
Mm.
yeah, let's just
Let's
feel
breathe
that.
that all in.
Each time Jessica holds breath or holds space for another to go through a breath journey, she continues to be humbled by the depth in which the breath can take someone into the most intimate parts of themselves. What a gift
Mm.
it is. What a gift it is for you to be here right now, Jessica, and to share your
Mm.
love of breath work, with others, with the world, and to witness transformation that's possible for
Mm.
folks, through meeting themselves through the breath. It's honestly,
Mhm.
it's such a true honor for you to be here and hold that space. And what an incredible tool that we all really have access to at any moment in time.
And that's the beauty of it, right? You don't actually need to go anywhere. You can be sitting right here in the comforts of your home and have access to all of that was shared. So thank you for, yeah, putting that into the space so that people really can understand that this isn't something that is outside of you. It's like it's all within you. So yeah, thank you so much for having me back.
I am ultra excited for this, Jessica,
Mm,
because, you know, I'm a mindfulness teacher and like I've been in this space for a while. And you know what? I've decided that I think I need to collaborate more with folks who are doing the same work or, along
mm,
the similar veins as I am. And
mm,
why not? Because it's not always like about the facilitator, right? It's not always about the person that's like teaching you. It's more about
mm,
the space that we can create. And I'm really looking forward to this chat tonight
mm,
because I've seen this in, previous sessions that you've led. You have this way about you that's so grounded and so connected.
mm.
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you for sharing that because, today was actually a little bit of a more chaotic day where I had to keep reminding myself that, oh yeah, what do you do when you feel this ungrounded? You breathe.
Yeah,
So,
breathe.
yeah, the day started off a little bit kind of just hectic and just felt, yeah, a little unsettled. So, it was just so perfect to actually utilize what it is that I'm here to share with you. So this is like a daily practice that's consistent in my life as well. And that's why like for me personally, I just feel like every single person needs to be breathing more because it literally can shift your mood, shift your energy in a matter of minutes. So, yeah, happy to be here and guide an experience, which I know last week we had an experience that we got to, yeah, share online and honestly, I've been having a lot of, yeah, online sessions now that have been moving people through like some pretty deep rooted, unresolved traumas, for instance. So initially I thought maybe online wasn't going to be as effective for breath work because specifically the training that I do, like it's very somatic, it's very hands-on, there's a lot of body work. However, the experiences online have just been as impactful as the in-person. So yeah, excited for the experience later.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Again, like I will take every little second I can of
Yeah.
like conscious breathing.
Mm,
Jessica, to kick us off,
yes.
can you maybe tell us a little bit more about your journey and really how you came to be in this space?
Yes, thank you. Well, I just want to first acknowledge that I am coming to you from the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people here in Victoria, British Columbia, and Vancouver Island, this beautiful paradise. And I just want to acknowledge all of the Lekwungen peoples that have been the stewards of this land prior to us arriving. So, yeah, so I'm an elementary school teacher, and that's been about 13 years now in the making. And it was really about 4 years ago when I just started realizing, maybe this isn't the path that I want to stay on until, I retire. Maybe there's more. And when I was 5 years old, I decided I wanted to be a teacher. So as a 5-year-old, I mean, sure, you kind of have an understanding, I suppose, of your likes and dislikes, but I was just so committed to being an elementary teacher that like I never explored any other options in my life because I was just so focused on this dream that I was holding on to. So, yeah, now it's been 13 years of being a teacher. And of course, I'm not a 5-year-old anymore. And there's clearly more to, yeah, this human experience that I've just started to kind of open myself up to. So I just started saying yes about 4 years ago to different healing modalities that I never really had time to pursue. So I started with yoga and I did a yoga teacher training and started to realize that, all right, this is something that I'm, really passionate about is getting people to move energy through their bodies. And of course, yoga consists a lot of pranayama, which is great for connecting to your breath. And, that was all beautiful to experience. And then it was like, okay, well, this is a interesting path that I'm taking. I'm going this yoga path and like, there's still something more though that I'm curious about. And what is it? And then breathwork came into my like field. And, I learned about Wim Hof and I just didn't totally resonate with the like crazy aggressive style of Wim Hof, which was really about, meeting
Yes.
yourself in the most extreme way so that you can like prepare your body to like go into the cold. So I like love him to pieces, love his energy, like love what he's done for breath work. But it was still like something just wasn't connecting for me. Like it just felt too aggressive for my body. My nervous system just didn't like the abrasiveness of how that breath was moving through me. So all of a sudden, I was at Wonderlust, actually, out of all places, which is a yoga festival in 2018. And there was some breathwork offerings, which I thought, okay, well, that's cool. Let's give that a go. And I actually like sat in my first breathwork session, like so out of my body because I couldn't understand what was happening around me. So I was like moving around the room in this out of body experience, just completely like blown away that people were expressing so much emotion during this like 1 hour experience at this festival. And I was just so
Mhm.
uncomfortable because I wasn't used to expressing my emotions. I was used to staying quiet and, not necessarily being as loud as other people. And then all of a sudden I realized, okay, well, there's obviously something to this. Like if people are just simply laying down, breathing, and they are releasing this much emotion, what is this about? So then that was sort of the catalyst for, okay, there's something more to this breathing that I wasn't actually aware of. So then I dove kind of headfirst into holotropic breath work, which was very intense, like a 3 hour still kind of a bit too aggressive for my liking, but at the same time had a really powerful release where I was able to see like past lives that I've led and was able to connect some pretty big, pieces of my past for explaining behaviors that I kept seeing show up in like relationships. And then that was okay, the final piece of, again, there's something to this that is so unlike anything else I've ever experienced. Even 12 days at a silent meditation retreat, I did not have the same sort of breakthroughs that I was having with breathwork. So then I dove, into
Wow.
a breathwork training, and here we are. Yeah, like I guess it's been a few years now of just breathing on my own, but then getting really focused on, learning kind of the science behind it, and then really experiencing it myself consistently. So going through my own personal journeys, and now being in a space of offering it in group ceremonies as well as one-on-ones with folks in person, online. And again, I just continue to be completely blown away at the like profoundness that something as simple as breathing can offer you. So I'm here to share because I would love more people to be accessing this, tool that everyone has already within them. And again, it's not about going outside of yourself, it's about connecting inwards. So that's what really excites me, is that we all have this within us.
Wow. Thank you for that. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And at a time, I think when a lot of us are experiencing, so much grief,
Mm.
a lot of mourning is happening, from the way that things were,
Mhm.
and and also processing. A lot of processing is happening right now in our world. Just case in point, Black Lives Matter, the whole movement really came to a forefront, and white people actually started listening and seeing.
Mhm.
And then, more recent times, the racism towards the Asian community, and we had that
Mm.
shooting last week where 8 people
Yeah.
died, and 6 of them were Asian women, and it's really, really powerful to be able to sit with that, and to sit with, I call it like being able to hold two truths at
Mm.
once. Being able to say like, yeah, this is really tough, and this is really shitty, and this is
Mm.
hard, and and there's this other side of it where I can be in safely and always return to. And that for me is
Mhm.
breath. It's always been breath.
Yes, beautiful. And I mean, yeah, I work in schools still, so I'm still an elementary teacher. And now I'm bringing, yoga as well as a bit more of the breath work into classrooms, but as well as for staffs. So I'm doing staff wellness opportunities with yoga and then integrating a bit of the breath work. But when I do it with kids specifically, it's like I can just see how surprised they are when within themselves, like again, it's not outside, but they already have this like magical way of calming their nervous system. Like they have the tools, and it kind of gives them, every time I see it kind of clicking in the kids that I'm working with, when I do sort of different breathing exercises, you can see it clicking like, holy cow, like I feel miraculously like so much better. Like I'm not upset anymore, I'm not sad anymore. Okay. And then kids just, they're so quick to like get over things. But, speaking of grief, like the amount of grief that I've been able to process that I wasn't even aware that I was holding on to has come through breath work, like 100%. And,
Mm.
that's the beauty of the breath, is it will show you exactly where the energy blockages have been living in your body without you even realizing it. So yeah, it's such a beautiful opening to releasing emotion that for the most part, like a lot of people don't have safe spaces to share that depth of emotion. So when, we're holding these ceremonies as well, it's just such a beautiful remembering of how as a collective, like there's so much grief that we're all holding on to. So, the most beautiful thing that I've ever witnessed is a group of, 10 plus people all crying together and
Oh,
knowing that, it's just part of the human experience. There's nothing to be shameful about. Like there's no shame attached to it. It's just all part of, being here on this planet and being in these meat suits and experiencing this life in this way. Like it's just such a natural part of being human. And that's, I think, also the beauty of doing a consistent breathing practice is you become so much more open to actually sharing your emotions.
mm,
You let go of the idea that you're like bothering someone if you cry. Like so many of us just don't really want to like upset
mhm.
other people, and a lot of people can't necessarily be with your emotions. So then because they're uncomfortable, well, you're just going to stuff down. So in these spaces, like like Pandora's box opens and whatever's just being stuffed underneath the surface gets to be released, and it's so liberating. Like
Oh,
so liberating. Like your whole energy body just is so much lighter because you don't have to carry it anymore, right? It's not something that you have to keep feeling the heaviness on a daily basis.
mm, yes. I love that. I love how you speak about it. That's
Mm.
I feel it. I feel it, you know?
Yes.
It's not just words, they're there.
Yes, and I mean, feeling like the whole felt sense, it's like that's also, as a way of kind of getting more in tune with your body, like the breath will allow you to get to a point where you do feel everything, and that's, bringing more presence into also your like everyday experience, which I think for a lot of people, like they don't live with as much presence as they could. And they're detached from their bodies. They're not, aware of the things that they're consuming, either nutrition wise, on the TV,
Yes.
media wise. Like, so with the breath, you start to become a lot more sensitive to your environment because you feel things more. And
Mm,
that to me is just being such a beautiful gift because I've always been very sensitive, but I haven't always necessarily been like encouraged to let my sensitivity be known to those that I was around. So, all of a sudden, the fact that I can cry when I go for a walk because an eagle flies by me, like, all right, well, that's beautiful. And maybe there's a person that walks past me on the trail and maybe they're a little curious about why I'm, crying, but it doesn't matter. It's like you just start to see and feel things so differently. So it's truly just so incredibly impactful.
mm. I feel like we could talk about all day about like the
Yes.
benefits of breath work.
Yes. Yes. There's a
I'm
plenty of them.
I'm so curious, Jessica, like as you spoke, I'm interested in knowing like why did we stop breathing well? Or
Mm.
maybe why did we stop consciously
Yeah.
breathing? Or
Well,
what is that?
so many reasons. Each person is probably going to have their own story. But I mean, if you think about it, when we came into this world, like we all knew how to breathe as infants. And,
Right?
our breath, yes, would change when we were hungry or upset, uncomfortable, like we'd cry. And, of course, our breath would change. But innately, we all came into this world knowing how to do that deep, conscious, consistent, connected breath. Like that's just
Hmm.
how we came into this world. So yeah, what's stopping us now as adults? Uh, all the traumas, all of the experiences that you've had where you suppressed, repressed, didn't speak up when you needed to, said yes when you meant no, like all the times that you didn't honor yourself in some way, like all of that is now living energetically in your body. And I think truly, like, we all have so much of that stored in us that, yeah, it's not safe to breathe deep into our hearts. It's not safe to remain open to the possibilities of love and connection because people, historically, I'm sure a lot of people have had some pretty terrible things that have happened to them, and then they hold on to that. And like your body, I mean, as someone that does Reiki, like yourself, like, like your body is so energetically impacted by any time that something has happened to you that hasn't felt right, we'll say, or hasn't felt safe, or hasn't felt in alignment with who you truly are. So like all of that, I personally believe is just like weighing on your body, and generally like it weighs heavy on your chest. Like when people are just weighed down from the past, it's just like shoulders. And I just think about people working on the computer all day, like energetically, we're just not taught to like stay open in our chests and our heart. And of course, then what happens is the breath is so constricted and it can't move freely. And if it's not moving freely and it's just all shallow and primarily probably staying either deep in the belly and not moving into the heart, or just staying high in your chest, like it's not healthy. You don't feel like your best self. You feel heavy. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's so many reasons. And I mean, there could also be like physiologically, like, concerns that people have that have caused them to not necessarily breathe properly. And but what's really powerful is last week there was two asthmatics that came to a ceremony that we did. And they were both like, you know what? I have been so scared to breathe because of my like history with asthma, but I'm just like so grateful that I came here because I've been able to release some of that fear, even though they had their like inhalers close to their mats just in case. But for the most part, they were just like so incredibly like surprised at how comfortable it was to breathe in that circular rhythm. And yet their whole life they've been like so scared to breathe deeply because of what it could mean, in the long run. Or So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like even people with asthma are starting to realize, wait a minute, if I'm breathing in this conscious way, maybe there's room to actually get more airflow in this body that they've never maybe felt before.
Oh my
And like how
goodness.
freeing is that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love that you mentioned that. It's for me, breath is a continuation of the cycle that we are. Like
Mm.
we are not disjointed from nature. Like we are
Yes.
nature. And so the
Yeah.
breath is like this constant give and take, this constant
Mm.
push and pull, this constant waxing and waning of just
Beautiful.
being and not being, being doing,
Mhm.
maybe. I don't know if that's the right words, but
Mm.
it's a reminder within us, that we are always changing and always
Mhm.
adapting and evolving and growing. And I love that notion. It makes me think of like the tides, like when the
Mm.
tides go in and the tides go out, or waves come, every
Inhale, exhale.
that's what it is,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, our breath is mimicking, yeah, nature in so many ways. I mean, the fact that our lungs literally look like tree branches is another thing, but
Yes.
yeah, no, it's such a beautiful reminder. And actually that's like a common cue when I'm facilitating, is like having that oceanic kind of visualization where like the waves are coming and going, and that oceanic breath that just inhales, just like the, beautiful wave as it's coming into the shore. And then on the exhale, that release as it's moving back onto the rocks and away from the shore into the shore. Like the whole visualization has really actually been quite helpful for a lot of folks that found breathing in that circular way, just like for some reason challenging, exhausting, whatever the reason could be. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that. It's like we are nature, and the breath is just getting us closer to realizing that.
Yes, it's like this circular concept of like, we think that even healthcare, because I'm, in that background,
Yeah.
that health is very linear, but it's not. It's like
Mm.
this like constant push pull, and if we don't exhale, we don't know how to inhale.
Mhm.
If we don't get sick, we don't know what health is.
Mhm.
If the sun never
Totally.
set, we would never know what the nighttime look like or how good the day can be, right?
Yes. Yes.
There's
No, I
there's
love that.
this yeah, this constant circular motion about it, which I love.
And really, thinking of that circular, vision or visual, it's like the inhale is like the birthing, the exhale is the dying, right? Like we're constantly rebirthing ourselves and constantly dying. So that
Yes.
inhalation, exhalation is just like this kind of infinity symbol of what we're consistently feeling day to day, moment to moment, breath to breath. It's like rebirthing, dying. Like there's always going to be parts of ourselves that we are releasing and letting go, and that's the exhalation. And then inhaling, what are you taking in that's new? What are you inviting in that's something different than you maybe aren't used to? Or how are you, choosing to essentially rebirth yourself, which my last breathwork course was very specific to essentially engaging a session where someone is going to experience their birth. So physically being
Wow.
back in the womb. And that was really powerful to hear people and also to experience, parts of my birth story that I had actually no clue even until I like experienced
Whoa.
it, until I was guided into the experience. But, breathwork can also help people like completely rebirth themselves as a fetus so that they can rewrite their birth story, because some people didn't necessarily have like the most loving entrance into this world. Primarily, most of us did not enter this world in the most loving of ways, based on being born in hospitals and all. And I mean, everyone has done their best, I'm sure, to make that process in the hospital as like heart-centered. But the fact is, there's so much trauma when babies are brought into this world, specifically in the hospitals. But so to have people be able to relive and by recreating their birth story through breath work, and then come back now into the world feeling loved, feeling nurtured, feeling the presence of their mother that maybe they didn't have because they were separated from her in the hospital or for whatever reasons, different health complications, like so incredibly powerful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That for me that's a lot. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, at the same time, you could also die during breath work.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
mean,
not physically, but energetically, there might be parts of you that are ready to die, and like you need to let that go. And, what a safe way of experiencing your death in a facilitated, guided, really carefully, strategically ran facilitation so that you can experience that and come out of it with this new sense of, vitality and appreciation and gratitude for your life. Because I've experienced that a few times now, and each time it's like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but
wow.
like I am so grateful to be here. And I see, like, I literally have like new vision because of it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes.
Oh, on that note, should we
Yes.
give the people what they want?
Sure. Let's do
Oh,
it.
this is amazing. So,
Yes.
if if Jessica, you want to maybe provide a little bit more background on the type of breath work that you do, which is
Yeah.
connected, and then we'll go kind of right into the demo, that would be amazing.
Cool. Yeah. And how
Sweet.
much time do we have for the demo? Like
Yeah,
20
so
minutes or?
we have about 15 minutes, and then we'll
Okay.
take the last 5 minutes for questions, if that
Okay.
works.
Cool. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So we are going to experience conscious connected breathing. So essentially, you're going to be breathing through an open mouth. And that's to essentially allow yourself to bring in as much air, as much oxygen as possible in kind of the shortest amount of time. So we're creating a more of a vibrant inhalation through an open mouth. And then on the exhale, we're just softening. We're just letting the exhale dissolve out of our bodies. We're not forcing anything. The diaphragm, the belly, everything is soft. So it's inhale through an open mouth. And then exhale, let it go. We are removing the pauses. So this is sort of the critical part. We're going to eliminate the pauses in between the inhalation and the exhalation so that we're creating this circular breath, just like those ocean waves. The inhale comes in the body. The exhale releases just like the wave coming into the shore. So just creating this rhythm that works for you. I will mention that your mouth might get a little dry as we're breathing in through the mouth, so feel free to grab some water if needed. I'm not going to do too much more explaining. I really want you to be able to have this experience. I will say that there are a few contraindications, so some things to be aware of if there's any cardiovascular issues that you might be experiencing currently. Then I would probably either breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth just to kind of reduce the maybe intensity of the experience. That could be an option, or simply observe and then kind of feel it out to see if this is something you're interested in. If you've had any recent surgeries that might disrupt the healing in some way, so anything around the throat, anything like that, high blood pressure, any history of aneurysms, seizures, this sort of conscious connected breathing, when it's done in a little bit more of this vibrant style, can be a little bit of an area of concern. So just trusting your body, feeling into what it feels appropriate for you here. And with all of that said, if there's no questions, we'll start to get ourselves grounded. So to settle into the space, we'll find a comfortable seated position. Unless you're at home and you've got the space to lay down somewhere, feel free to lay down, just getting as cozy as possible. And we'll just start to really bring the awareness into how your body feels as you're arriving here. So just maybe letting the eyes get heavy and just starting to feel how the breath is moving in through an open mouth, and then letting out some sighs as we ground ourselves for this 15 minutes of conscious connected breathing. So inhaling through an open mouth, and then exhale, sighing it out. Let the shoulders get a bit heavier. And just releasing the jaw. So we want to remove any tension that we might be holding in our face. Relaxing the eyebrows. Relaxing the cheeks, the jaw. And starting to bring the awareness into that inhalation. So really drawing in the breaths. We're saying yes to life here. So inhaling through an open mouth. And then exhale, we're releasing tension. So let something go. Surrender to the exhale. And then finding that circular rhythm where we're not taking any unnecessary pauses between that inhale and the exhale. So finding that connection. And as we begin to find the connection between our inhales and exhales, just start to notice how your body might be responding to this breath. Bringing as much awareness into drawing that breath from the deepest part of your belly up, filling it up into your lungs. Feel your chest expand. And then exhale, soften. Keep breathing in this way, where maybe you even feel yourself moving with the breath, like the waves of the ocean that are reminding you that you are nature. So finding a rhythm that works for you, welcoming what's coming up, and perhaps you bring into your mind's eye an intention that you might have for this experience here together. What is it that you would like the breath to show you? Or perhaps you keep your intention open to bringing as much presence into this moment that we have here together. So allowing that intention to settle in your body, and then return to that breath, bringing as much awareness into how it feels as you invite that inhalation all the way into your heart. And then as you exhale, Feel the surrender to this experience. Keep finding that rhythm. There's nothing to hold on to here. So just notice where you might be experiencing tension in the body. And can you use your exhalation to allow yourself to let something go? And it's safe to trust the breath. And it's safe to breathe. Can you trust in the unfolding of this experience right here, right now? Keep breathing. You're doing so good. Let the breath carry you here. Let the breath support you. Keep relaxing the jaw. No tension is needed to be held onto in that jaw. Keep bringing that breath all the way into your body, filling up all the way from your roots to the crown of your head, then letting it go. Consciously using this breath as an opportunity to sweep out whatever is lingering in the body that is not serving you. Any areas that you might feel blocked, send the breath there. Keep using the breath to clear out any residuals of the past. Keep surrendering. Vibrant inhales, really filling up. Feel your chest getting so full of this new life force. And then exhale, softening. Inviting in something new. Breathing in all the good of life. Keep breathing. Find your rhythm. Keep removing those pauses in between the inhales and the exhales. Feel the sensations. Notice where in your body you might be feeling a bit of tingling. Maybe your temperature is changing in your body. All of that is perfectly normal. Stay open to the experience. And remember, you are not here alone. You have the support of Mama Gaia. She's right here with you right now. And all your ancestors, all those who walked this earth before your time, they're all here supporting you as you continue to remember and awaken to who you are. Keep connecting to the truth of who you are. Keep letting the breath guide you. The breath is your guide and your path. And if there's any part of you that wants to move, feel free to move your body, feel free to move your hands, shake your hands. You might start to feel a bit of tingling sensations in the hands. Shake out whatever is feeling stuck right now in your body. Stay curious. Keep breathing. Breathing all the way from your feet, all the way up into your belly, to your lungs, to the crown of your head. And it's safe to let go here. What are you ready to let go of? What are you ready to let die so that you can rebirth yourself, your true self? Capital S, self. Keep breathing. In through an open mouth. And then exhale. Let that breath find its way fully in, and let it go. Allow the breath to guide you. Keep breathing. You're doing so good. Letting the breath continue to move without any restrictions. Feel the expansiveness, the lightness that might be present here for you now. Keep finding that circular rhythm. It's bringing you back into this present moment. Bringing you back into your true self. Feel the breath swirling around your heart space. Letting it massage your heart, and maybe even placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just let the breath be like a mother's warm embrace, feeling the warmth of that nurturing embrace around you right here, right now. Letting the breath nurture you. Letting the breath hold you so dearly. Remembering that you are loved. You are love. And you are worthy. Keep breathing. And slowly we'll bring ourselves into a place of stillness, keeping that connection of your hand on your heart, hand on the belly, and finding stillness in this place of meditation. And starting to feel yourself grounded here in this space, starting to feel any shifts in your energy, body, any subtleties that you might be able to tune into, how your energy maybe feels different to when you first began. And starting to maybe bring a little bit of movement back into the hands, into the head, maybe even moving your head side to side, moving the neck around. And before you open your eyes, just expressing some gratitude to this beautiful gift that you get to wake up to every single day and go to bed with every single day. It is truly an honor to be able to share the breath with you. And thank you for sharing your breath with all of us here today. And when you're ready, opening the eyes. And finding a nice comfortable seat, and we can share anything that wants to be shared in the space. Sometimes it's nice to also keep the experience internally until you feel called. It's nice to journal after breathing. It's nice to go for a walk if that's possible. It's nice to even do art sometimes. People that like to paint sometimes want to paint, the visions that they had, the insights, inspirations. Lots of possibilities. I know we have not much time together, but yeah, thank you so much for trusting that, trusting in the breath.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it possible to pull a card post breathing?
Please.
Okay.
From the deck. I love it.
Yes. All right.
While I come back fully.
Yes. I was like, I think we need a little pause here. So yeah, this is from Work Your Light, Rebecca Campbell's beautiful deck. And I always feel that when people are choosing to breathe, I mean, they really are the light workers of this planet. And I feel like you fall into that category, as well as everyone that has decided to join us here today. So the card that wants to come through as we wrap things up. It says, take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. And
Oh,
as a beautiful little, connection to breath work, I mean, if this kind of modality doesn't remind you that life's not actually about rushing. Life's not actually about trying to get, the 10 things off your to-do list checked off so that you can then do the next thing that you're supposed to do. Like, no, the breath will literally drop you into presence each and every time. So, yeah, it's a beautiful little reminder that life is not about rushing. That's for sure. And I have learned that multiple times. So, yeah, I finally feel like now, I don't know about yourself, but especially with all the mindfulness that you do, it's like how much more enriching is this experience when you stop rushing and you start noticing and feeling and expressing and creating, not because there's a timeline that you have to get XYZ done, but just truly because it feels good.
wow, Jessica, thank you. How is everyone feeling right now? I am,
I know.
oh my goodness, I'm on like another cloud,
Yes.
maybe another planet.
Yeah.
It is wonderful, this technique that
Mm,
you teach and that we all have, and that you're
mm,
really facilitating this this connection to ourselves. And I, for me, that really means connection to my own lineage,
mm,
connecting to my Celtic and English, Irish ancestors, and beyond that, connecting to the land that we come from and that we're taking
mm,
up, and in that connecting with our bodies, our own bodies, and that is breath work for me. Really,
mm,
really seeing and being in touch with. It's funny that we have this phrase being in touch, but
mm,
actually physically being able to viscerally feel where you are in space.
mhm,
This proprioception that I actually teach in mindfulness is this sense of your body in space where you are. And I think, to allude to the card that you
mhm.
pulled, it's this, we don't have that connection because we're always trying to be somewhere else.
Mhm. Ah, it's like I know that feeling so well that I'm just like having all these flashbacks to, yeah. I mean, hello, life as a teacher is all about like deadlines and report cards and interviews and open houses and keeping up with the curriculum and making sure you get all the learning outcomes done like by a certain time. Like it's just a lot of that kind of way of being. So yeah,
And
thank you
this like
for
colonial mindset of time,
mm,
really, right?
mhm.
And how we, like, we only have this amount of time, or we have to end up at this time, or we have to clue up, or even this concept of starting and finishing is really interesting to me because
Mm.
there really is no such thing.
I love that. Yeah,
Right?
and I mean, and here's the thing about breath work as well is that, yes, you can come and do these intentional, 1 hour, 3 hour, 15-minute, 20-minute, like whatever time frame you have. Like, sure, you can come and do a breath work session. However, it's when you're done your breath work and you're in your everyday life. I mean, just like yoga isn't just when you're on the mat, it's how you show up every day. So, yeah, I like to always kind of just think of actually everything as a breath ceremony.
Mm,
Every, opportunity we get, every time I'm in the car, it's like, okay, I'm in my breath session. Here we go. What's going to
mm.
show up here today? And just like stay curious. And yeah, and it's kind of fun to live life in that way. Like even when you're at the grocery store, it's like, here's the breath ceremony. Like what's coming up for me? Like what do I need to like get curious about? And why do I feel this way when like this person does this? And yeah, it's
Yes.
an interesting way of just continuously seeing that we have this opportunity like every single time we literally interact with anyone in the outer world. So yeah, it's not just a thing you do in like the space of your own home. It's like, no, you can do this anywhere, anytime.
Incredible. Incredible. I feel I actually right now, if I can just describe for you folks, and maybe this is
Yes.
like a good journal prompt for you, all of you
Yes.
out there. I feel hot. Like I got really hot. Like I'm like exuding heat right now.
Yeah, amazing.
And my feet, they feel like they're like fastened onto the floor, like in such a way they're like the roots, like they're like my legs are like
Nice.
these trunks of trees, and my feet are
Yeah.
in there, like really in there.
Grounded. I love it.
And you mentioned something else, which is ceremony. And before I
Mm.
let you go, I just want to say a word on ceremony because,
Mhm.
like this sense of ritual is something that we're so lacking. And
Mhm.
what makes a ritual a ceremony? I think for me, it's providing some sense of sacred meaning to it, like making it
Mm.
sacred. And when we do that, it creates such a broader experience when we think of all the senses that it interrelates with. We don't just like think of like, yeah, like you said, going to this place and doing this thing. It's like,
Mhm.
how can my daily walk
Yes.
become this beautiful, amazing awesomeness, like this experience of, okay, I'm feeling the wind through my hair and on my
Mhm.
face, and I hear the birds chirping, and I'm swallowing, and I'm really feeling it, and then I have a glass of like drink of water, and then I'm walking at the same time, and each breath is this new
Yes.
experience every single time. And what do
Yes.
I see in front of me? And then I can look this way and look that way and see something totally
Mm.
different. And in each moment, making some sort of connection to the thing that you're sensing.
And that, like the way you just described going for a walk, like that's how I feel. I go for walks now. And I never used to. Like I used to go for walks and I needed to like be at the top of the mountain by like this time and I had to
Yeah.
rush up and it was all about fitness and cardio and now it's like I walk slower because everything is just so much more beautiful to take in and I know last week, or yeah, I think it was last week, we talked about the presence process, maybe. I'm not sure if we did, but after
No.
doing this 10-week process of 15 minutes conscious connected breathing in the morning as well as the evening, all of a sudden, like every moment of every day, I was just so much more aware of how things felt. And yeah, all my senses became so much more heightened. So, highly recommend the presence process. A lot of breathwork courses will recommend this book as a way to, yeah, have facilitators just have that daily practice. So, yeah. And also, if anyone ever wants to get deep into ancestral trauma,
Oh
doesn't it
yeah.
sound fun? This book, through breathwork, like I started getting all these just visions of and feelings of, yeah, things that from the past that I was very confused by. And then a friend of mine said, it sounds like what you're experiencing is ancestral trauma, which I had never really thought of before, that we could be holding in our bodies, incidences that happen way before we were even here 3 generations ago that are still living energetically in our body. So after reading this book, yeah, my breathwork sessions actually changed quite a lot because I was just so much more clear now on like, oh, now I know what that is. And like, okay, thank you. Like, thanks for the message. And it wasn't so scary anymore. So highly recommend, yeah, this book called It Didn't Start With
It
You.
didn't start with you. I recently actually
Mm.
read that book,
Oh,
and
nice.
oh my goodness, wild.
Yeah.
I like immediately recommended it to my mom as well. I was like, we need to
Yes.
know these things.
Yes. Oh my God, reading it as a family, like how incredible would that be for
Yeah.
everyone to have the understanding? That's amazing. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much for those book recommendations too.
Yes, you're
That's
welcome.
great.
I mean, there's a few more. I mean, if you've got time, I just so happen to have these
Bring it, bring it.
nearby.
So
Just
we've
some
got the
light
presence
reading.
process.
Just some light reading.
We've
And
got
this is like the ultimate. So Peter Levine, Waking the Tiger, if you want to understand trauma, highly recommend it. And then the other kind of godfather of trauma is Bessel van der Kolk. And yeah,
The Body
sure
Keeps the
you've
Score.
read them as well. And just both of these, as I was getting really deeper and deeper into breath work, I was like, okay, well, I need to understand trauma because there are memories that are showing up in these sessions that I don't even understand. So what is that? And then witnessing it in other people and just feeling like, okay, this is clearly like a very tapped in modality for releasing trauma from the body. So it's important for me to understand this at a deeper level. So dove into those books pretty hard.
Wow, Jessica, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Before we clue up, I actually also want to just offer Jessica has a beautiful gift for everyone watching this. It's a 1.5 hour online breathwork experience plus oracle card reading
Yes.
for a special price. So,
Yes,
for
thank you.
everyone who's watching the replay as well, just get in touch with Jessica, and I'll let her say what the best way is for you to contact. But
Sure, yeah.
mention Inspiring Insights, and
Yes,
yeah.
please. Yes, well, so I just actually launched my website today. So
Oh,
you can go
congrats!
to breathetobliss.com, or you can find me on Instagram at blissfullybee, or you can also find me on Facebook at Jessica Bouley. And thank you so much, Erin, for doing the work that you do in this world. And congratulations on 28 consecutive weeks of these episodes. I'm just, truly inspired by your vision that you had of bringing all the like-minded folks that are doing interesting things in the world, to have people have that deeper connection to themselves ultimately. And that's truly beautiful. So thank you for all the work you do.
I honor that, and I really, just for everyone here, Jessica and I have actually, we
Yeah.
don't know each other. I mean,
That's
we know each
right.
other now
Yeah.
through virtual things, but
Yes.
we met like in this pandemic where everyone's trying to connect over all kinds of interesting technologies, and I just want to
Yes.
give a lot of gratitude for this type of
Mm.
platform where we can all meet and gather, and
Yes.
post the replay on YouTube and
Mhm.
talk about it on Instagram or have a live on
Yes.
Facebook. There's so much happening here, and it's
Mm.
really just to go back talking about circular,
Mm.
holding that two truths. There's so much going on in the world right now,
Mhm.
and you're still allowed to do the things you need to do to
Mhm.
heal and align and get connected with yourself.
And get connected to the community of people that are doing very similar things. So,
Yes.
all these different social media platforms, like it's really such a beautiful way of realizing that you don't have to do this alone. And, if I've learned anything through these like breathing sessions is, like a lot of people have been struggling about this aloneness that they're experiencing while we're in this kind of crazy time. So, if you can come back into the space of, for one, meeting yourself with your breath, which helps you to reconnect to yourself, and then two, opening up to the fact that, wait a minute, there are other people doing the same thing and we don't have to do this alone. Because I mean, right now, people do need to be breathing. So, always happy to facilitate online as well as in person so that people can really be accessing this way of connecting to one another, because it's truly been the most, like I said, like transformational for me. And I've met the most amount of people in my life so far in like the most depth through breath work.
Yes.
So the friendships have been like more like soul family connections.
Yes. And it continues. It
Yes.
continues.
So thank you very much.
Oh, thanks again for being here. Jessica Bouley, everyone, from
Yes.
Breathe to Bliss.
Thank you.
You can check out the replay on our YouTube channel. It's Reawaken Co. Inspiring Insights. Also, go ahead, follow us on Instagram, Reawaken
Mhm.
Co. Facebook, same thing, obviously. We also have a running weekly now on Friday evenings, mindfulness space, virtual as well, totally virtual, but very inclusive and feminist oriented. And that's called The Den. So if you have any questions on that, you can shoot me an email at hello@reawakenco.com. Thanks again. This has been episode 28. Jessica Bouley, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.